Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening. Okay, everyone. So today we continue for topic research methodology. After we are cover on the research designs. Okay, second one we are cover on the research philosophy. So the next part is research approach. I think we can start now. So still have, I need to accept our member to join this class. It's okay, but I think we need to start now. Okay. All right. Number one is about the basic on the research approach. Okay. There are two different approach to conducting research, namely deductive and the inductive approach. Okay. Namely deductive and inductive approach. Okay, these two approach actually as an approach on your research. So everyone need to decide your research approach is deductive or inductive. So what's the difference? For quantitative research, actually we use deductive approach. Okay, we can see, okay, for quantitative research, okay, mostly we need to identify theory, research theory. You need to have theoretical theory. So you need to decide in our study, in my study, what is a theory? Using in this theory for testing. The difference between quantitative and qualitative. If you are quantitative, we need have theory. Second, we need to test a theory. Okay, what else? So meaning that if you are apply quantitative research, you not use many theory, because as objectively, which theory are most accurate in your research? And this happened. Somehow students in chapter 2 or chapter 1, and from their explaining, they are mentioned in our study use theory A, theory B, theory C, theory D. Your supervisor and panel will ask you why you use this theory. This theory actually represent on your research objective. Why you need use many theory? Why? So that you need to answer that question. As quantitative research, we use only that theory are actually much accurate and much suitable in order to answer research objective or research questions. Okay, so next we look for the inductive. Too many things we can differentiate between deductive and inductive. So I just give a few things. I think that maybe after this we will be discuss the difference between quantitative and qualitative. So inductive, okay, the definition, inductive, you need to add. The keyword is saturated. I go to the instrument interview. I interview using the purposive technique. I interview one person. I interview the second person. Still not saturated, because when we go the first interview, we get a lot of the information. And you get a lot of the, what we call that, we can say that the data. So once you go to another interview, so you get another things. So this we call that rich data, enrichment. So go to the interview, you get another. So you go to this another person, you get another things. You get another interview, you get the new things. So still not saturated until you get the saturated. For example, so the next 11 participant for your interview, actually, or the participant number 11 mentioned the same thing before, like number 1 and number 10. Go to the 12th person, also mention the same thing. Go to the 13th person, also the same thing. So you can stop your interview because you have saturated. Okay, so qualitative start the small numbers, but difference with the quantitative, we use the big sample. But in order to represent the big population, we can use sampling size. We use a sample to represent on the population, meaning you deduct from 5,000, you deduct 1,000 or 500, maybe 200, 100, because we can calculate the sampling size using from the formula from the previous scholar, such as you can use the G power, you can use Craigie-Morgan to identify and calculate the specific numbers in order to find that the specific sampling size from population. How that this sampling can represent our populations. Meaning that inductive, you can add the numbers of participants until you are actually not saturated, but you can add the numbers of participants in order to interview. Meaning that you're inductive. But suddenly, for another approach, deductive is actually you deduct. You cannot use many theory. That's why you need to deduct. You propose a lot of the item questionnaire. From the validity process, when you go to the expert, when you use the factory analysis, you need to deduct the items. So if you write in paragraph, for example, literature review, you write many paragraph. In quantitative research, any paragraph is not relevant, we can delete. It's not relevant anymore. Why we need to write this matter? So that's why if you are actually quantitative research, I'm highlight that this paragraph is not relevant. Please delete this one. So this page is not relevant. I have experience. I'm delete more to 50 page, 50. I mentioned that from page 20 until 70, delete all. Because it's not related. How that you can explain in this matter? Because you actually quantitative research. But in qualitative research, may be acceptable. Because the most important thing, they highlight the theory, many theory, because qualitative is inductive. We use that theory for purpose, understanding, and meaningful. Oh, quantitative also need to understanding. Yes, but you should be know the physically on the quantitative research. That's become another important. So why need from the last week and this week? We are covered on research design, research philosophy, and research approach. Some students not agree with me. Not agree. From proposal defense, you mentioned, I want to use the case study. Okay, they explain your research, they want to case study. But this approach is actually not case study. You're using the deductive. You mentioned that our research have testing the theory, so we have proposed the hypothesis. You have testing theory, and then you have the specific hypothesis. That your hypothesis is something like regress or effects, meaning that your research is quantitative. Why suddenly you mention it's case study? That somehow that the student want to apply case study, but exactly your problem, your objective, your literature review is actually quantitative. It's not case study. That the most important thing that this topic, in order to make sure you have very good fundamentals, in order to understand what is actually research. Okay, that's why if you are actually researcher, when you talk and discuss with your friends, you go to the cafe, go to the restaurant to discuss in your research, we need to interpretation from your research issue, research problem, your objective, your research activities, your analysis can be represented in the right way. That's the problem. I want to use this. I want to use that. Why you want to use this? Because it's a trending. Because it's a new thing. So everyone use this. So that's why I'm use that. So my friend told me, mention this. Oh, this it should be. If you are PhD student, you should be used this way. You just follow whatever your friend mentioned. Without you have very good basics and fundamentals. Okay. We still can repeat the same thing after this. But for the introduction part, I just need to make it simple, the difference between deductive and deductive, inductive and deductive. Okay, but this is a really good discussion. But the most recently, Sounders et al. I already give this book in our WhatsApp group. I hope so that you have read little bit in this book, Sounders et al. The book's name is the Business Research Method. Okay, another approach is abductive. Somehow we call that abduction, which is a combination of both deductive and inductive that use a mixed method. Example, mixed method design, we need to use qualitative and quantitative method. In this part, you use both. I'm use inductive. I use the deductive and inductive. Okay. So when you use both, we call that abductive. So if you are actually mixed method research design or mixed method research, we use research approved abductive. If I'm just only one, we call that mono. If you get some, if you read books, they are right or highlight mono meaning that one. So one meaning that we have mono method quanti or mono method qualitative. If I'm use only qualitative only, so my method is mono method qualitative. I just use only one for quantitative, is mono method quantitative. Okay, understanding this approach is very important. This is a keyword. This is the meanings. Very important. To align and develop research philosophy, which is then can help determines appropriate research option and research strategy. If you are actually not understand research approach, how can you identify the research strategy and research technique? That to make sure that every single process research activity in the right flow, in the right way. So that's a really important research approach to understand. Okay, we go to the specifics. We go through one by one. We start with the deductive. Okay, deductive approach. Deductive approach is a research approach in which is the correlation is very strong between cause and conclusion and must be true and valid. If you want to choose a theory, make sure this is theory accurate, the valid theory, proof from the previous study. If you want to study this topic, this is the best and suit for that theory. That's we call that quantitative. So why deductive begins by selecting appropriate theory and develop hypothesis. If you are study qualitative, no need hypothesis. But for deductive, meaning that quantitative, we need to select appropriate theory, develop hypothesis from the theory, which is hypothesis is from theory. If you don't have theory, how come you can develop the hypothesis? And planning strategy to test the hypothesis, meaning that we need to testing theory. So I have theory. Next, after I'm done do the literature review, I can propose the hypothesis. But hypothesis need to test, meaning that indirectly, meaning that you need to test the theory. Once you test the hypothesis or test the theory, according to the past finding, obtain either accept or reject initial hypothesis. So from your hypothesis statement, so we have H null, we have H1, or we call that research hypothesis, or we call that alternative research hypothesis. That the answer is you should be accept or reject hypothesis, H null or H1. That's really important. So this everything is scientific. Step by step, you should be follow the process. I need a theory because I need to develop the hypothesis. In order to develop hypothesis, I need theory and literature review. So after I'm done the hypothesis, I need to propose the statement. All the statement from the analysis, the finding or the result should be answer whether either reject or acceptable H null, H1, or we call that a research hypothesis. That's really sharp. Quantitative is sharp. I want to study this one. I need use this theory. I need use this variable. I use this construct. So every theory need to test. I need to come out the hypothesis. I have the very sequence hypothesis, research design. I need to validate number 1, number 2, number 3. Everything have the specific objectively. Qualitative, subjectively. Oh, I'm qualitative, I'm flexible. I'm a subjective, it's okay. Because this guy using the qualitative research. So why? Qualitative have phenomenology. So they are from the ethnographies, where you do the some action research from the grounded theories, from the case study. In this matter, all this research strategy is actually flexibility and subjectively. Why? Because in this research strategy, we can explore, we can to explain deeper. Okay, we can also observe. So from the sample, we can use the small sample, but in the multiple participation and multiple perspective, we can explore whatever that's the phenomena and the issues in the related in your topics. Once you are actually qualitative, is more good in terms you understanding the situations. If you are quantitative, you can send the questionnaire through the online. You not go that place. You not see that people. You not through the system. You not the feel the experience. You don't look from your eyes. You don't feel a soul. But qualitative, everything you can feel on that. So that's why we call that qualitative researcher as instrument. But if you are quantitative research, it's not instrument. We have instrument, yes. What is your instrument? Questionnaire. But I'm not. I can sit in the front of the computer. I just sit at home only. I can collect data through the computer and through the internet from the online. So we have many platforms. Okay, you just sit wherever you want to sit, because quantitative researcher is not instruments. But qualitative cannot be. You are researchers instrument. We need to go the field works. You need to feel that the situations. That the difference between the what we call that the physically and characteristic as the researcher. Somehow the researcher think that, oh, I'm PhD, I just go to interview and ask the question, done. He is not qualitative source and research. You should be know in this part. Okay, we go to the point number 3. The deductive method, also known as the top-down. Top-down. Oh, I want to study about this topic. Oh, this topic, the most suitable and relevant theory is this theory. No option at all. You need to follow that theory. That's why we call that top-down. And okay, you don't have the subjectively, you don't have option for the flexibility. You need to use this one because accuracy matter. So this is the best. You need to follow whatever that the theory guide and explanation from that research flow. And you need to follow. Okay, scientific principles. From theory to data, explain relationship, influencing. So that's why, oh, you want to study variable A and B. Why? From who? You have the theory to highlight relationship between A and B. You have some proof and support from the literature that you find that empirical research also highlight this relationship. Why you need to study relationship? Why it's not effects? Why it's not influence? Why so important relationship? Everything question is based on the structure. It's not the question, we can also study relationship because we can see the many perspective and angle from relationship. You cannot mention on that because you are quantitative research. We are confirmed. You need to change your physically. I'm the quantitative. Everything decision making should be firm. You should be in the right way. Should be all the selection is accurate. No subjective, no flexible. Okay. Next, we go to the next slide. Okay, still your friends still on join this class. Somehow some in out, maybe Wi-Fi or internet problems. Okay, we go to the inductive. Contrast. Yes. Inductive, deductive is contrast. Inductive reasoning serve. That the words that use. Somehow when you see this slide, you can see that the choosing of wording, the choose of words. Some the words from the deductive from this slide, you can see that all the single word is actually action words, structured words. But we go this slide for inductive reasoning. Not mention the accurate. It's about reasoning. Okay, reasoning serve to opposite that prompt something to draw conclusion for one or more facts. Meaning that inductive, you can add for which the conclusion explain the facts. We are not follow the facts. We explain the facts. The facts support the conclusion. Example. Oh, I want to study relationship between A and B. Okay. If I'm the inductive and quantitative, I'm study relationship between A and B. My result, the value is less than 0.5, meaning that this relationship is significant. That's it. Oh, that's it like that. Yeah. Because you are quantitative, you want to test and prove from your answer and result, show that the value is less than 0.05, meaning that this relationship between A and B is significant. Full stop. But in qualitative, you need to explain. Relationship between A and B is an important topic to deep explain. In this situation, many factors be affect this relationship. For example, this relationship because this happened can show that because you need to explain deeper. You need to make sure that everyone, if they read your explanation, they can get the clear knowledge. Okay, they can get the crystals understanding and meaningful. It's not just understanding, but you feel on that. When you go, for this is another example. When you go to the watching movie, okay, movie is, we call that inductive. You listening music. Music is inductive. Some people listening this music, their interpretation type A. I'm listening this music, my interpretation another type B. So when have 10 peoples, when they are listening this music, some people react cry. Some people think that this music and lyric is something joking, fun. Some listening music think that this matter is have double meanings. So everyone have interpretation in their way because Inductive is subjective and flexible. It depends. If you listening this music because I just want to enjoy and relax. Somehow the same music and lyric for another person is something touching, can make it cry. That you need to understand the difference between inductive and deductive. Next, researcher will formulate some hypothesis relationship formulation that can be test, can be not mentioned testing, they mention that can be tested, and finally that grow general conclusion or theory. That's why we call that bottom up. Quantitative top down, qualitative bottom up, deductive top down, inductive bottom up. Please remember this one. Okay. Understanding, meaningful, deep understanding, qualitative, flexible part of research process. Please remember these words. Qualitative, meaningful, deep understanding, flexibility, part of the research process. We call that instrument. Still remember this one. I'm qualitative research, meaning that you are instrument. You can be flexible and subjectively. Whatever you write, whatever you decide is based on the meaningful and deep understanding. This we call that qualitative. Okay, you can see that the difference between deductive and inductive. Deductive top down. You can see deductive. So that's why it's okay if you are research in quantitative, you need to find, I don't have find theory. I don't know in topic is this theory. So how I want to study this topic, but I cannot find the theory. Why you so important about theory? Why you so crazy about the theory? Because I'm the quantitative research. Yes, the answer is yes, right. Because I'm quantitative research. The major and critical part is about theory. If I don't have the theory, I need to shift. I cannot be study in deductive. I cannot be in this topic. It's not suitable for the quantitative research. I need to change. I need to go to the qualitative because I don't find the theory. And that is simple. For me, it's simple. Oh, I don't find. Some students to mention that I very difficult. I'm stressed. I cannot find a specific theory. It's okay, brother. You need go to the qualitative. Can? Yeah. If you don't have the theory, you can study for the qualitative because qualitative, we actually can make a theory. We call that theory building. Yeah, it's okay. Qualitative no need theory, but you can produce a theory. Oh, yeah. Qualitative can propose new theory. Quantitative, you cannot be propose a theory. I'm done my research. What is your contribution? From my thesis, I can conclude that I can propose a new theory. How come quantitative can propose a theory? Proposed theory is for qualitative research. That's why we call that bottom up. Okay, quantitative theory testing, qualitative theory building, meaning that, oh, I'm quantitative, I need to find theory. Why so important theory? Because I need to test. Qualitative is okay. Oh, I need theory. Yes, theory is really important for my finding. But before I can get the theory, I need to get the finding. How to get the finding? I need to read more and more. What you actually need to read? I can read theory, I can read model, I can read previous research. Why so important? Why you need to read more? Because I want to get some understanding and meaningfuls. How to get the all this matter? So we need to go from interview. We can go to the observation. I can follow for the documents. So I can use a questionnaire also. So in order to collect the rich data, after that, I go to the saturated level. I go interview and interview until saturated. Finally, I can find a team and sub-team, sub-team. From this matter, I can send that in this topic, I'm actually extended. From the extended, time to time, when the people appreciate our finding, next, our finding can call that the theory. You understand the Maslow? Maslow is not theory. Dia start with the Maslow model. Model Maslow. When in Malaysia, for example, when you study in Form 4 and Form 1, we learn about the model Maslow. But when you study in postgrad, why people call that Maslow theory? How come they actually theory? Because time to time, in relevant matter, from the model Maslow become theory. Because can generating finding that we can agree and prove that time to time, year by year, this model Maslow is relevant and practical. Then become the theory. So in qualitative, we are actually humble. We can overclaim that I'm actually produce a theory. Yeah, you actually produce a theory, but we as a researcher, we cannot put that I'm produced in a theory. But I can say my finding contributes and to find that the right themes. Then I can propose a model that clearly can deep explain to give some understanding and meaningful. On this one, clear. When the people read my thesis, from the discussion and the result and discussion, they are very clear that then they get understanding and meaningful. Oh, this is the answer. This is the answer. If you are blur, I'm not sure lah. This topic, I'm not sure. It's still not clear. Amnesia still blur. So we don't know what is the best practice. So we need to go to the qualitative. Because you are actually very clear. You do not clear. Oh, this topic, many people study this topic. We have ready that theory. So many researchers from the international also use this theory. Okay, simple. You go to the quantitative, but everything is clear. And why you need to go to qualitative if everything you want to study have already from the previous study? I'm not saying that quantitative is not good, but both is good. Quantitative good, qualitative good. But you need have some fundamental, firm understanding in your topic, okay, from your problematic and issue, which is a more suitable, quantitative or qualitative. Okay. Okay, we have question here. Okay. In deductive, we are not narrowed down in from general situation to specific vice versa for the inductive. Okay. So, Moin, this is questions or you actually highlight the statement or what? Okay. If you want to ask the question, you can ask the question. You are mentioned about the situations.
Actually, sir, I have just put the question mark at the end of the question. So, yeah, I was just looking for your explanation on this.
Okay, this one.
Because I've seen somewhere that it's like,
for example, in qualitative, is really important on the naturalistic and phenomena. So we don't know this situation. This become the phenomena and go to the naturalistic. We don't option. You need to go there. You need to see in your eyes what happened because you have no idea. So that's why we need to go that place. You need to observe the peoples. You need to ask with the peoples. You need to back to check all the policy and those document what happened. If you are law background, you need to follow the act. Okay, if you are still no because this is a government part, you need to go to the government to check why government suddenly this happened, why this become phenomena, why student can apa what we call that can stay at night, and you can do that not the normal thing. It's become phenomena. So need you go to for qualitative. But this is very clear, very simple research. You want to study behavior. You want to study behavior for the consumer. It's normally you can get a theory. Easily you can get the theory. Oh, this one, customer behavior. We have theory, plan, behavior, something like that. Very clear. Oh, your answer actually clear. Oh, you want to know about the behavior of the consumer? You just read the TPB. Oh, TPB actually answer my question before. Then why you need to study qualitative? You just use the TPB in order to test your specific situations, because everything is clear in the TPB. But if the phenomena or the naturalistic, we cannot be using any theory because the situation is flexible. It's not same from the one place to another place. The different cultures, the different technology, the different style or practices, the different materials, the different legals and policy. That's the most important point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sure that the situation, somehow we are actually, oh, I want to study because I work in this company 20 years, but I believe that not people are clear about the process. I'm work here also, very difficult to understand the process. Okay, I understand your issue, but suddenly I'm asked you what instrument you want to use. I want to use questionnaire. Totally wrong. But because you are mentioned not clear. If not clear, you need to give the people understanding the issue first. In order to understanding the people on their issues, you need to go for the interview or the observation or document, meaning that you need to start on the qualitative. Oh, this part is very clear. We can follow the document, you can follow the theory, but we need to test. Okay, you can do the questionnaire because you just only want to test. Quantitative have only two answers. Yes, no, significant or not significant, positive, negative, effect, no effect. Just two answers for quantitative.
Exactly.
But qualitative, we have many answers. Do you like me? Depends. Some people like, some people know. I'm still blur. I cannot say that I'm like you or not like you. So
it's quite explanatory, we must say. There are many explanations in it.
Yes, correct. That the different bit. But I need to explain because some people think that like this, brother. Oh, I think that questionnaire is much easier. I can graduate on time because I propose tonight. I have questionnaire. I set up for the Google form. Tomorrow I send with the people. Another day I'm analysis. Another day I write the conclusion. 1 week I can done my thesis. Because everything is done. I believe that I can say that if you are quantitative, you can complete your thesis 1 or 2 weeks, no problem. But you try in qualitative, you can do a research only 2 weeks.
It means it's very time consuming.
That we call that structure and flexible. Why? Yeah, I can done 2 weeks because of structure. I cannot be structured in qualitative because subjective to change. You want to the interview. Yes, you get very good structure, date, time, specific people. You go to interview. From their answer, how you control the answer from the participant?
You cannot control them.
Then suddenly you back. The answer from the participant is not enough. Cannot be represent what you want. Still not clear. You go to another interview. Still not clear. You go to another interview. Is not clear. Now I'm agree. Interview is not enough. I need to go observation. So I go to observation. Still not good. I go to observation. Like the girl go to the shopping, buy the handbag, go to the one mall. Oh, I'm not happy. I go to another mall. I'm not happy. I go to another mall. I'm not happy. I need to go the same mall again. Still not happy. Because this one is not saturated. How then you can say that qualitative can be structured like this? Oh, just interview, back interview, interpretation, you get the answer, I get a PhD. That's why I'm not saying that qualitative is really good. I'm not saying that quantitative is not good. But in here, I want to share my experience that you feel this. The most important today, I want you feel that my situation. Oh, this what we call that characteristic on qualitative. This I'm characteristic in quantitative. If you say that difficulty, both have difficulty. Yeah, I'm agree with you. Easy to develop questionnaire, so easy to send the questionnaire. But the problem is, I need very clear on part literature review. One, you do some mistake. We call that mistake. I do the mistake. My questionnaire is mistake. One mistake, all is failure. And when we call about risk, oh, qualitative, you risk about time, cost. You need to spend a lot of time on that research. Qualitative maybe less time, less complex, less go to the field work. But the risk, if the quantitative one mistake can be affect the whole system. But qualitative, if they make a one mistake, actually not much effect on the system. I give another formula. Quantitative using large samples. After that, because of deductive, we need to use small sample after do the sampling size. Meaning that you're using 300s. Okay, 200 maybe. 200 in the statistic, if the one or two item effect, we can be affect the result. You know that quantitative and your result is 0.051. Not significant. Significant accurate 0.0.5, less than. Your result is 0.51. It's not significant. Cannot be. Kau team tak boleh. No. But in qualitative, it's okay because you just need to explain. It depends on your writing and narrative. How to make sure from your writing and narrative, the people can get that your highlight and your sentence and paragraph to mention on those specific topics. Okay, in general, which approach is more common, acceptable for business research? Both. Abdi, both. You can use deductive, you can use the inductive and abductive also, no problem. So business research can apply all. Can you have customer? We talk about business because you are business students. You are actually businessmen. Okay. In terms of deductive, okay, you have customer. If you have new product, no problem. This customer is your loyalty customer. Once you have launched new product, 1,000 item easy to sell. Because you know that this part confirm 1,000 baht. But how to get the new customer, potential customer? You need to apply, need to persuade them. Okay, this product is really good. You can buy for yourself. You can buy for your family, in your friends. So these are many functions and benefits. This is a good investment. If you buy now, the price is cheaper compared the next price. Now issue on tax. So in terms of this part, easy in your life, something like that. That in business, we need use both. Some situation we can use deductive. Some situation we need to use inductive. You get my point? Again, in order to tackle the customer, can somehow it's very easy. One step you can get the customer. That we call deductive because you have the theory. I have the theory. I have the formula. I know to tackle the customer. But now difference. Very difficult to tackle the customer. You try to option A, failure. Option 2, failure. That we call the qualitative. Until you get how to grab or tackle the customer. Okay, another thing is both. You are agree also, you need to use this. Some customer, when we divide by percentage, in this customer is actually 50-50. You need to give some theory to this customer. Okay, customer, you can see the all people right now buy this product. I show you the percentage. Or this model handling the market 60%. This is theory, deductive. Oh, the customer 50-50. Then you add another information. Okay, this is the most suitable for you. Not people get these benefits. Why? If you use this, your status, your emotion become positive. Your performance, your work performance, your thinking performance also increase. Your lifestyle also increase. Not people have this one. You are the lucky person, customer. Today we meet, you are actually the right and the lucky customer to buy this one. So you need to combine. You need to combine. And if you have son, boy or girls, they are cry because fight their sister and brother. You need to persuade, nak pujuk anak and something like that. Somehow, okay, I give you money. And like your son lah, you just give 10 ringgit. They can stop cry. Kan? Some son lah. But you give a money cannot be. Tak, oh ni kena use. Money also they want, but they want another emotion. You need to persuade another ways. And go to somewhere and then you have the what you call sweet talk, something like that. So you need to blend the situation on this matter. Okay. Okay. Any questions on these two? And maybe of you have question to add from this topic of inductive and deductive. I'm quite worried. If you are not clear this one, when you go to the proposal defense, okay, please put yourself in my seat. Okay, let's say you are actually present your proposals, but suddenly you get my point. This is not quantitative research. This is qualitative research, meaning that you need to restructure your research. Of course, in this situation, you need to redefend. You cannot pass the proposal defense sebab you use wrong method. Wrong method, you need to propose the defense. When you go to the viva, which is major correction, maybe reviva, maybe fails. Different method will be affect all the result. Okay. Okay, deductive, I just make summary from you need to identify theory. After you have the theory, you can propose the hypothesis. Then you go to collect data and then get the finding. Okay. But inductive, everything started from finding. Yeah, you write chapter 1, you write chapter 2, but you write chapter 3. But you don't have framework. You don't know what is actually the answer because all the answer come from participant. If you not ask, you cannot get the answer. But situation, if you work in organization and you go to the interview to get the job, and you don't know who the person will be interviewed, what's their question need to ask, what their expectation from the new workers. How that? Okay, maybe you need use the mixed method because commonly you can check in the website, you can check because you have the experience also before. So when you go to the interview, some question you can predict and introduce yourself, why you need to work in this company, what you understanding about these positions. If I select you as one of our employee, what your contribution in this company? What's the idea for the development and improvement? Any last words you want to say because we end our interview section? That the question you can predict. That we have the deductive. That's why we use the theory because you can predict the question. Suddenly, the panel asks another question also. So that's why this interview is mixed method. Because you can predict from the questions, and then another question is something like unstructured question. You not plan anymore because if you are interviewer, you can ask any questions. And the question also we call what, why, how. And okay, if the panel is very subjectively, They give you one pen. This is my honestly my first experience in HSBC Bank. This is my first interview. I get the job, but I think that my performance during interview is not good. They just give me one pen. Okay, Fazli. Okay, Nurul Fazli. How to sell this pen? I give this pen to you. How that you persuade me in order to make sure that I buy your pen. So I'm customer, you are the salesman. How you persuade in English, for example. So the one question only. Before that, introduce yourself, something like that lah. Yeah, give me one pen, then persuade me to buy this pen. What you expect? Again, that's why this situation also in our life, certain thing also blends. Some we can predict because we learn something. You read some book, you read article journal, become the theoretical. Theoretical is knowledge. You can get the knowledge that you can know that the specific question. But suddenly, the interview is this up to interviewer to ask the question. So suddenly also have another question that you not prepared before. And that's so theory. Start from the finding, then you collect the data. So hypothesis generating is your finding actually. Then finally you get the theory. So inductive, you can theory building. You can propose a new theory. But for the deductive, for quantitative, we need to start our research with theory in order to get the finding. So theory is must if you want to get the finding, because this is a quantitative research. Okay, abductive is combination both. Consideration begin with the incomplete set. And this is a good answer when the people say why you need to use abductive, why you need to use a mixed method, because quantitative still have what we call that room for improvement. What we call that once you combine quantitative and qualitative, is become complete. When you use one only, for example, quantitative, you only use quantitative. Still a few what we call that missings. So once you top up from the qualitative or quantitative, when you blend together, it's become complete set. Begin with the incomplete set of observation and proceed to possible explanation. You go to the interview, but interview stand alone is not enough. Cannot be fixed. We go to the observation. Interview observation also still not really fit. You go to the document. Yes, you get information, but it's not. Still have plenty improvement in order to make it really fit. Then you go the interview. Last one, okay. Now become fit. So when you write in your thesis, everyone can agree because all the angle enough, complete. Okay. Take an event that has already happened and describe it with the simplest, most likely reason. Conclusion for the best explanation, intelligent explanation. So this is a mixed method. Why you need to abductive inductive? Because I need conclusion for the best explanation. If you want to the best explanation, you need to use both. Yes, you use qualitative, very deep explanation. Enough or not? Maybe not enough lah. Oh, actually you want to the best explanation. Yes, I'm customer. I need best explanation. So in this case, let's say we are the salesman, we need to use both approach, abductive and inductive, because we need to give their best explanation. Another thing is we call the intelligent explanation. Smart. This is really smart. You use blended. You use qualitative and quantitative. Okay, abductive include the deductive, inductive, but receive data from wide variety source such information, evidence, and personal experience. So when you use inductive, deductive, all the data can be used. Interview can use, questionnaire can use, experiment can use, observation can use, action research, all the data item you can be used. So because you use all, Okay, example outcome, this man had a left town as soon as murder for the committed. Rule, okay, this is a case of the murder. Okay, this is a theory. Killer often leave the place where they are commit the crime. They go to another where when they are kill some people, they go to the other's place, not stay that the place, go there. Okay, case analysis and data collection, this guy miss a killer. So that's how that the theory and case, for example, child case, that from the data the guy must be a killer. So in the theory, mostly people when they kill some people, they go another place. That's how that the brilliance explanation, because you combine as a theory, killer go to the somewhere. Okay, but from my observation and my investigation, confirm that we can explain from this situation, yes, guy must be a killer. So you have two answers. These two justification become solid and together can be, or we call that more what we in English, in Malay we call that saling lengkap dan melengkapi lah, something like that. In English I forgot the terms. That if you have one's approach, you support another approach, become more complete sets. Okay. So see this another difference between deductive, inductive, and abductive. Function and conclusions. Deductive is specifics. Inductive is more general. Incomplete observation, once you use another approach, become the best. You actually start because incomplete. So in order to incomplete, you need to use another. So you have observation, next you use questionnaire. So because support by questionnaire, they become the best prediction. Function, minimize existing option. You actually minimize. Deductive, minimize. Function, generalize existing idea. So we cannot say maximum lah, but we actually generalize apa saja others perspective and multiple diversified. So functional for the abductive, create space to generate new idea. Creating a space, another space, because you are actually not just single approach, you use a both approach, so become another new space to get the new idea. So this is the best explanation from start incomplete to become best prediction. This is abductive. If you inductive, actually probably true. You use observation, suddenly you can explain deeper from, we call that general conclusion. Quantitative, you start from the general, we start from the theory, suddenly you have the specific conclusion. Okay, this relationship is significant because less than 0.05. That the answer is specific conclusion. But qualitative, from your research, from your objective, from the data collection analysis, suddenly you need to explain deep. That we call that general conclusion. The best prediction should be in the mixed method of the abductive approach. So this is another example how to write abductive, inductive, and deductive. Okay, you can see also this one, and please refer the slide. Okay, I'm not cover this one. This is another additional because we have know the theory, so we know the difference between abductive, inductive, deductive, abductive. But now the most important thing, because we are student, we are researcher, we need to write a thesis. So how to write? So you can refer this as some example how to write abductive, inductive, and deductive in your thesis. So I just give slide some of the example. Okay. All right. Now we go to the research choice. Okay. Choice meaning that we have know the research design, research philosophy, research approach. Next is research choice. Research choice is, after you are clear about inductive, deductive, and abductive, now I can decide. Now I can decide. You actually mono method, mixed method, or multiple method. If I'm use quantitative and deductive, I'm actually mono method quantitative. If I only use only qualitative, I'm mono method qualitative. If I'm abductive using both quanti also, quali also, so I'm mixed method. Okay, then we have another one. The last one we call that multiple method. Multiple method, you using two or more. For example, I'm use survey for questionnaire. I'm also use experiment. Experiment and survey is the quantitative research strategy. I'm use these two. We call that multi-method quantitative. I'm the qualitative researcher, but I use two. I'm use case study and I'm also using narrative inquiry. Let's say I use narrative inquiry and the case study. So I'm actually multi-method qualitative. Mono is one, multiple two or more. Mono is one, multiple two or more. Multi-method quanti if I'm use two from the quantitative research strategy. If I use two or more qualitative research strategy, we call that multi-method in qualitative. If I'm use one from quanti, one for quali, I'm mixed method. If I use only one for quanti, mono method quanti. One only quali, mono method quali. That's, you need to know the difference between mono method, mixed method, and multi method also. Doctor, can we conclude that type of research approach is mainly depend on our objective after systematic literature review? Is in this situation, I not say that depends is the best word. Also, you can change. It's not only depend, to confirm also. You can mainly to confirm from our objective. Third one, you can also mention to be aligned. You want to make sure that, oh, this methodology is aligned with my research objective. Okay, you need to consider which one is the best, which one is the right. Your method is right or your objective right. Because it's not aligned. Maybe you need little bit what we call that, modify your objective. Maybe you need to modify your methodology. So objective is your driven, starting driven, but not guarantee your objective still survive until end. Once you have already decide your objective, once you go to literature review, for example, systematic literature review, maybe I need to little bit change my objective, because once I read 100 articles from literature review, suddenly I can say, I can identify that I need to change my objective to need to tally from the literature. Then you go to methodology. So when you read a lot of book of methodology, suddenly you agree that, oh, we cannot use this objective. Too very difficult, take a long time. Maybe you need to change our objective, because in order to finish a master in 2 years, you need to be reduced a research design. When you want to reduce a research activity, a research design, I need to change my objective. That's the words. I cannot that say that this we call that depend, that we call that to check and alignment, or we call that should be in balancing. But the most important thing, you need to, you are clear what the situation happening. And jadi the most important like that lah. Jadi it's really important research approach to check and balance. To check and balance, oh, this method is aligned with my literature review. This theory aligned with my objective. This objective aligned with the methodology. This objective aligned with the analysis. It's something like we call that train. You need to make sure chapter 1 until chapter 5 is aligned. That we actually discussed before. For example, problem statement should be aligned with the literature review. Issue should be, research background should be aligned with the literature review. Significant study should be aligned with the contributions. Scope and limitation should be aligned with the recommendation and suggestion. Again, your objective should be aligned, your hypothesis and literature review. Your hypothesis should be aligned in your research question, should be aligned your research design, should be aligned with the research philosophy, should be aligned with the research approach, which should be aligned with the research strategy, or should be aligned to research choice. Everything you need to check and balance, whatever you propose is suitable for research. All the research activity is actually in the align. That the part I always use the words align. Some people that mention that, oh, you need to go to see Dr. Fazli because this is an alignment man. They can check that your thesis, what are the part missing, what is actually you do some little bit mistake. You should be missing in this angle, you missing this one. You need tune your thesis. And so I think that because my passion, because I enjoy in this R&D, because I've loved R&D. So every day I'm do a research. That's why I'm discuss about research. So for me, I need this one because once I'm study a research method, my decision making much better, is much good. So if I have the problem, in order to solve the problem, my mind thinking is always like the research. So we have many options. We have need to use the best prediction and best solution. So this is good. If you are study master and PhD, the most beneficial to you, you are much better on the decision making. You create very good attitude. You are patient. You are more structured. You are more disciplined. You are more commitment. That my experience before. So from before I'm joined the PhD and master, I maybe lack on that. During master and PhD, a lot of the positive attitude coming. And I'm more commit, I'm more structured, I'm more disciplined. I know that every single time I need to use in a practice and value way. Hopefully, whatever I'm do, I need to reduce defect. I need to reduce waste. I don't make it the overproduction. Write more, delete more. I need to write only one paragraph per day, but to commit. One day, one paragraph. Second day, 2 paragraph. 1 week, 1 week meaning that you can write 3 page. 2 weeks, 6 page. 3 weeks, you can get another 12 page. So in 1 month, at least you can get 12 page. 3, 6, 9, 12. And per month, you can write 12 page. Because you are consistent, every day, 1 page, 1 paragraph. That's you need to learn from the journey in your PhD and your master, especially in order to write your thesis and dissertations. Okay, this is a mono method. You just only use one method, meaning that either quali or quanti. Okay, this explanation of the quantitative and qualitative. Okay, this is 25 comparison in qualitative and quantitative. Okay, so this is another topic, big topic. Because why? If you are clear this 25, that you know that in methodology, what's the element and component that really important. So we discuss a lot. Analysis, finding, because I sort by A to Z. Okay, that's why we start the analyze. It's not synchronized, but I try to cite A, B, C to Z. So we have analyzed, finding, data, exploration, philosophy, phenomena, focus, hypothesis, observer, the present research, result, goal, value, freedoms, approach, abstraction, data collection, research question, research design, sample, nature of the study, point of view, data source and work performed, setting, theory and purpose. In this matter, I need to explain one by one. I need to interpret very detailed on these 25 different. I think I need to continue for the next weeks. Following week, I need to discuss more on this one because in methodology, before we explain another thing in the quantitative, we need to know that 25 things on methodology, and also these 25 things also we need to know differentiate between quantitative and qualitative research. Okay, before we end our discussion today, I open for any question. If you have any question, please. Ada soalan nak tanya, boleh tanya, no problem. From the chat section, we have no question. Thank you for question for Ani, we call Ann, and Abdul Fattah and Moin, and because your cooperate and you willing to commit to ask the question. Thank you for your question. Okay, please, we have WhatsApp group. Okay, please ask in WhatsApp group. Okay, if you ask me personally, maybe I'm late respond. If you answer, you give question from the our group WhatsApp, I try my best to answer as fast as I can. Okay, that's why group make active. If you want to ask the question, please ask the question. I try to respond. And okay, if everyone no question to ask, I think we better stop now. I'm should be in KL, should be right now. So in faculty, all the lecturer in faculty management and economic have big meeting in Kuala Lumpur. But I try to excuse because your guys, because you all, I think that I need make decision, I need go to the meeting, or I am teach for this research method. So I choose for teach you all for today, but I'm not join in all my team members and teams click as a lecturer in FPE, go to the KPI meeting. Okay, hopefully everyone enjoy, you get some knowledge today. Your understanding of methodology is increased. You become smoothly, then you know that know a little bit how to write in your methodology also. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.